So this is kind of an Oldsmobile story. This car is a lot like the one I had in high school. The high school car I had was a 67 Olds F85 two-door sedan with a 4-speed and a 455 in it. And this car, or the car that was my high school car with the two-door sedan, was our kind of, I lived up in an area called Cottonwood Heights, and the local sheriff was Sheriff Glad. He's passed away since then, long since. But this car would do 100-yard burnouts. Not this car, but my high school car. And there was one night we did a speed run down Wasatch Boulevard in my Olds. It was primer gray, 4-speed, Muncie with a Hayes bell housing, and I think it was a 2,300-pound clutch, and 390 rear end gears in it. So some people might remember this, but I had my cousins Mark and Tony, and a friend named Lanny. I think Lanny was with us, and a couple of other people. I can't remember if Steve, so I'm not going to use last names because just to protect the innocent, and another kid named Steve, who we all went to the same high school. But my Olds was I don't know how to explain it, was the hot rod. It was primer gray. When I first got it, it had power steering, but I took that off and was going to turn it into wanted to turn it into a 990 bracket racer. Which everybody said, well, it would be a cool car, but it's too big and too heavy. So anyway, with this Olds, I got the big and the littles, 235 60 15 or 14s in the front and L60 15s in the rear with the aluminum slotted rims. There's a story behind that rim that you're looking at right there. So anyway, we went down Wasatch Boulevard and did a speed run. Now my Olds only had glass packs on it, which was illegal because it didn't pass Utah safety back then, and I don't think I ever passed smog with it or anything like that. But anyway, we went down Wasatch Boulevard, and I can't remember, it was before the freeway was there. And so we went flying down there. I did, ran through the gears and everything like that, and got down to, I can't remember where, but we got off the freeway and we turned left, and turned left again because I was going to do a speed run back up to Cottonwood Heights with all these guys in the car. So I made the left-hand turn, and everything was real cool. We made it under the bridge and everything like that. And when I tried to turn to straighten out the the car, the collar, the rubber collar that hooks up the front steering to the steering wheel, broke, and we were stuck in the middle of the on-ramp. So anyway, what we did is all of us, I think there was 7 of us all together in the 67 Olds, my hot rod. And so anyway, my high school car, we ended up, all of us, having to get out of the car. We had to lift the rear end of the car and scooch it over to the side, and then we had to all get in the front of the car, my Olds, to scooch the front over so it was over off the on-ramp in a safety area. And we had to walk back from Cottonwood Heights up into in our neighborhood. So here we are, my cousins, Tony and Mark, and I don't know if I remember if I had one. But we had denim jackets with a logo on the back that was Trinity Elite, and we had kind of like a small group of friends that used to like cars and stuff like that. So anyway, we got the car off the road, and here we are, this ragtag bunch of teenagers walking down. This was down by the old mill. Some people don't know what the old mill is, but locals would know what it is. So we were walking down the road there, and everybody's all paranoid and frightened because they don't want to get busted, because they were thinking we're gangsters. Not gangsters, but just a car group. So anyway, and Tony named the group Trinity Elite. So anyway, we were walking down the road, and the sheriff's substation. And so I'm like, hey, I know people here. So here we are. There, everybody stayed out on the road because they were all afraid to go up to the substation. But I've never had any fear for it. When I'm in a bad spot, I have no fear. So I went, you just relax. I know somebody who's here. So I went into the substation and I explained our plight, told them where the car was, told them what happened, and everything. And I didn't have the legal stickers on the window, so everybody was afraid of going to jail or whatever, this, that, and the other. So I walked in to the sheriff's station, and this is like 1 a.m. and I said, hey, my car broke down. I live up in Cottonwood Heights, and my scoutmaster was Sheriff Glad up in Cottonwood Heights, and they all knew him, who he was, and they said, well, he's not a sheriff anymore, he's Lieutenant Glad. And so I said, well, then you guys know where I live, up in what area I live. And they were like, yeah. So and because I'm the talker, I was able to negotiate with the cops, this, that, and the other. They loaded us up in 3 patrol cars, the 80s style LTDs, and we went tearing up the road past the old mill and up into our neighborhood. And I'll tell you what, with the way the cops drove on the road, I can't remember what it was. I think it was Creek Road, and they went up faster. And we were at home in probably less than 15 minutes because they would just blast it all the way up there. Dropped me off and all my friends at my house, and that was it. And that's my hot rod story of my Oldsmobile Cutlass. Everybody called it the 442, but it wasn't a 442. It's just a base model car originally came with the 3-speed. Now this car is not that car, and that's a different story, because my high school car I actually lost in storage along with the 56 Oldsmobile that I had, because I ended up moving to California, and that changed the whole path of my life, living in Southern California. As much as I hated it, I did a lot of really cool stuff. So I might post another story about my Pinto. There it is. Thanks for watching, and rock on as far as hot rods go.